And actually what I'm going to do, and this might be a complete car crash, but I'm going to try, is I'm actually going to zoom out on that camera. I'm going to give you a wider shot of the room for this shot, because that should then be in shot that you can see it. And I think it'll help set the context for what I'm going to try and do. But if the stream goes to absolute shit and I can't get the camera back, it's my fault. So I'm just going to go, yoink. There we go. So with, yes, this is the different shot that you've probably never seen. Whenever you film anything, what you always want to do is have lots of things, be it your microphone or your sound or your lighting, just out of shots, so that you get all the benefit of looking good and the best lighting you can and best sound and whichever, but it doesn't ruin the illusion that there is lots of lighting around. So actually for a lot of you, you might have never seen the two lights behind my head, which actually light the back of me, if that makes sense. There's a light there which is kind of just a bit closer to light me, and then actually in the room, which you can't see but you will when we do the 360 stuff, is I have three quite powerful lights which I bounce off the roof, which are on the other wall, and some other kind of stuff as well. But the thing that I want to talk about is this. You can probably just about see it. So as of, when did I buy it? Last week, I think it came. So basically one of the things that I'm going to start looking to do is that 2D video is stuff that we are all kind of used to. We know what it is, we know how it works. You can jump on your phone, you can join a stream, you kind of talk to people, and it looks exactly what it is. 360 video is a little bit different, where basically on a normal camera, you have one lens that shoots in one direction. So here you have, I've got a Canon EOS RP, which is a full frame mirrorless camera, which I use for my main kind of shot, which is a very good camera, but it just shoots forwards. This is actually the Insta360 One X2, where actually, basically what this does, it has two really fish angle, wide angle lenses on either side. And then what it does, it shoots one this way and then one that way, and then using clever AI, it stitches it all together. And why this is quite clever is actually when you then put it into through all the software and onto YouTube, it means that for an experience, and that could be, I guess you have all your action sports and stuff, but then likewise, it could be a wedding, it could be Christmas, it could be a classroom, it could be motorsport, it could be anything you want. In theory, the user could be inside the car with Max Verstappen, but has the ability to actually look around, so that if you had goggles on, you know, like an Oculus Quest or whichever, you would actually hopefully feel like you're in the room. And then, good morning, hi Alex. Yeah, so this is again one of the tech reviews that I kind of want to talk about and almost give you the behind the scenes, because by its very nature, the 360 camera is going to be behind the scenes. So one of the things that I wanted to start to do when Facebook and stuff started to talk about the metaverse and tech and stuff, one of the big things for me is trying to stay ahead of the curve on what everyone else does, because again, I want a better, slicker, nicer kind of business. So what I wanted to do was explore 360 videos so that when people kind of start to move forward with their kind of, you know, headsets and people get used to it, and actually it wouldn't surprise me if you start to get glasses like these where you have the augmented reality and stuff, we should start to learn the craft and how to do it, because I've spent a fortune on this kind of studio, why not kind of use it? So just as some kind of background, the camera arrived a week ago. I started to have a play with it to get a feel for it. It is a lot trickier than you might think, and actually my plan was to record this session also in 360, and then when the countdown clicker was ticking, basically it wouldn't work. It kept going into camera mode, photo mode, but not video mode, but I didn't have time to fix it, but I'm going to work on that anyway. But one of the things that's quite interesting is because it's a very wide angle kind of shot, when I was filming like basically from the floor up, so basically I had it on a stand, so it was kind of, it had to be out of shot of this camera because otherwise it ruins the illusion. It didn't look good, it looked a bit crappy, and then likewise it also wasn't very flattering because wide angle shots basically distort whatever's closer to it. So one of the brave ideas that I had is that I'm not afraid to mount things and lights to the ceiling anyway, was actually try to mount it to the ceiling, drop it down so that it's just out of shot for this main camera. Obviously it's not now because I'm showing it to you. But actually what my hope is that actually you get a good visual 360 on the room. And yeah, I wanted to kind of give you a little bit behind the scenes. Alex, if you've got any questions, please kind of let me know. A few little niggly things, which I'll talk about now, but at some point I'll do a full kind of review, because again, I've started to do like tech reviews and stuff as well. The sound isn't very good, because if you ever used a GoPro, the sound is a bit crappy. It's a bit tinny. It's not what I would hope to do as a professional kind of broadcast kind of thing. So one of the things I've been looking at is that basically you take the capture from this, you put it through the Insta360 software, you can export it that as a .mov. You can then put that file into Final Cut Pro, which is how I normally kind of do my videos. And what my plan is to try and do is that, because for my normal kind of setup, I have this lavalier mic with a Rode Wireless Go setup, which is pretty good, is to then use the audio from my normal stream and then put that over the audio from the 360. So you should get the best of both worlds. Yes, it won't be directional audio as in you'll hear where I am in the room, but it's a first world problem. I prefer that than crappy sound, if that makes sense. And yeah, it was just almost when the world starts to do more metaversey type stuff, I wanted to kind of try and stay ahead of the curve. And again, the mission is making business education accessible, that it wouldn't surprise me if in 10 years, you know, a lot of university lecturers and classroom sessions they do over Zoom. It wouldn't surprise me if they do it via 360, because in theory you could have 1 million people on every call and they're sat just there, if that makes sense. So I wanted to learn it. And then the other thing which I'm going to start doing, which I've mentioned to some people as well, is probably on YouTube, where you'll kind of find all the content and stuff. But I'm going to do 360 competitions. So if you actually go onto the Roadmap MBA YouTube and like scroll around when we start to upload the 360 content, basically I've actually done it, it just didn't work. You know, competitions, so that you can scroll around and find little Easter eggs and prizes and codes to email in to win prizes. And yes, it's an incentive to kind of get some traction on some of the new kind of stuff, but it's also just a bit of fun. So yeah, it was just something I wanted to talk about. But if you've got any questions, please feel free to kind of get in touch.